Photo voice is a form of participatory photography. It's a method for empowering people that's used in research uh, in communities. And one of the things that's important to understand is we can't give people things they didn't ask for and then expect them to like it. And oftentimes, as researchers or people who have a certain amount of authority, we may go into a community or into work with people and expect that we have the answers. And photo voice is just one method for allowing the communities, the people who may not be empowered in other ways, to be able to have a voice and to also be a part of the research process. There's some basic implications of using photo voice in research. First of all, photo voice is a very flexible tool that may be applied in many different situations. You can't just say that you can't list a standard set of situations and apply that to photo voice, but it's very flexible in going and working in the community. Photo voice also may involve many different levels of communication, community participation. For example, it can be used to work with children. You can work with older adults. You can work with people who've been not had the say in how things have operated. It works in many different levels throughout the community. Also, photo voice can have multiple possible outcomes. And that's because we allow the participants to determine what the outcome is. So we really can't anticipate what that outcome might be. Uh, some of the theoretical foundation of photo voice is that it's based on, in large part, on Paulo Freire's critical education. Freire wrote Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and basically he was saying that every person is capable of dialogue with others, and the visual image is one tool that can be used to accomplish that dialogue, among many others. It's also photo voice is influenced by feminist theory, saying that power is accrued by those who have the voice, who set the language, make the history, and participate in the decisions. Uh, Also, photo voice takes a community-based approach. It was developed by Carolyn Wang of the University of Michigan, and also by Marianne Burris, who is Program Officer for Women's Health at the Ford Foundation. And they set up some primary goals for photo voice when they developed it as a research method. First of all, uh, one of their goals was that research enables community members to participate personally. They're not disinterested people. The researcher doesn't go in to study them, but rather they are participants. They're the ones that gather the data for the research. Second goal is that dialogue is created about issues of interest to them, to those who live in the community. And the third goal, uh, photo voice may be used to motivate policymakers, especially after the research is done. Uh, the photos and the information can be taken to policymakers, and they oftentimes can be influenced and motivated to make changes in the community. And photo voice is a tool for assessment of assets and needs in the community. And it's seen basically as a three-stage process. First stage is actually after the training is done, participants, photographers, community members go out into the community and take pictures of things that they're interested in, and then select the pictures that they're interested in. The second stage involves contextualizing the stories behind the photos, and oftentimes the showed method is used to facilitate the discussion process. And it's a series of questions. First of all, asking What do you see in the photo? Not going at this point into any analysis, just what do you see? Nothing more. And second question, ask, well, what's happening in this photo? And that can be a dialogue in a small group or a large group, a discussion, and all of this dialogue then is recorded and saved for analyzing later. Another question, third question would be, how does this relate to our lives? Every photo has a story, something's seen, something's happening, but how do we relate this? How does it impact our lives? How does this photo, how this situation affect our lives as participants? Then why does this either as an asset or a problem exist in our community? And lastly, then what can we do about it? If it's an asset, how can we build on this asset? If it's a problem, what can we do to resolve the situation? Then stage three is have a collective discussion where everybody comes together and talks about the issues that come out of the photos. Each participant would select maybe 3 or 4 photos, and then they would start putting the photos together to see if there are common issues, themes, and stories. Along with the stories, there are theories behind those stories that people can start to analyze. Photo voice is similar to other assessment techniques, but it's also different. Wang and Burris concluded that, quote, photo voice did not differ notably from other needs assessment techniques in what it uncovered. The difference rather was in the process that was used and the implications of that process, end quote. As with other strategic plans, and the methods and the process is really what's important, oftentimes even more important than the end result. And the process, the techniques are what's important, or rather the process and not the techniques is what's important. And there's some ethics to take into account in photo voice. Number one, privacy is expected. Do not intrude into other people's private space. That's just a hard, fast rule. Second, do not disclose embarrassing facts, especially if they're not relative to the welfare of the entire community. Third, do not place people in a false light. And we need to be careful about all of these points of ethical issues. And the last fourth point is we will not profit at the person's expense, and that's been a problem oftentimes in photo voice, where researchers have gone into the community and without getting permission have taken the participants' photos and used them and made a profit off of them. The photos belong to the participants. And lastly, remember, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let's use photo voice as a method of going into the community and gathering the data and using the community members as participants and researchers in gathering that data.